Okay, so far we have taken a look at Bible Gateway, Bible Hub, and YouVersion. Today is the big one. So if you haven't already checked out those videos, you may want to do that. But if not, no worries. This is still a really great resource. It's just that it's the big one. It's packed full of resources. So grab a cuppa, take a deep breath, and let's take a walk around Blue Letter Bible. All right, so here's my folder of online Bible study tools. Today we're looking at Blue Letter Bible, and it's going to look really familiar in that it has a lot of the same features. It's just that they are power packed. So we're going to go straight across the top just like we've done with the others, starting out with our search. Okay, so the search part is going to be familiar to you. You just type in your verse, your word, your phrase, topic, whatever here, and choose your translation. So that's going to be familiar. But here is where the search really can be fine-tuned. So you can choose to search through the whole Bible, just the Old Testament, just the New Testament. And remember, we've talked about the sections. So the law or the Pentateuch, the historical books, poetic books, wisdom literatures. You can, if you know what you're looking for is somewhere in there, you can narrow it down to that. The Gospels, the epistles, or again, one of the books. So there's one way that you can really start to take advantage of the extra features with this search. You also can look through a range. So if you know it's somewhere between Joshua and Job, somewhere in there is what you're looking for, then you can narrow it in that way too. So it really does give you a lot more options for honing in on exactly what you're looking for. If you want to put in more than one verse, again, you can choose your translation that you're looking at, but then you can put several different verses. So you can see here in their example, they're doing a search for Genesis 1 through 15, and Revelation 3:4, and Jeremiah 21:10 and 21, and they're going to put that in and pop out all of that. Then you've got some more options down here, and it's just more of honing in to get exactly what you're looking for. Okay, we're going to talk about these features in just a bit. So that's the search. If you click from here and see, all those options still are right here in the dropout. In this search, it's going to be more like what we've been looking at with Bible Gateway, Bible Hub, and YouVersion, in that you put your verse, word, phrase, whatever here, pick your translation, and click go. That's going to be more familiar of what we've been looking at. This, when you click on the search at the top, just gives you a lot more options. Next, we're going to take a look at this study tab, and you can see a lot of familiar resources. Remember, we talked about commentaries, especially when we looked at Bible Hub, a lot of commentaries, some other reference manuals or reference sources, charts, timelines, maps, topical indexes. So we've seen in the other resources some of the topical indexes, some of the timelines. I think we saw that with Bible Hub. But a lot of this other stuff, we didn't have that. And then some theological resources and some multimedia, which we saw this kind of with YouVersion, some multimedia options. But Blue Letter Bible just has a lot more. So we're going to come over here to devotionals. And it's a lot like what we've already seen, where you can just choose a devotional that you can subscribe to. Not as many of those to choose from, because again, Blue Letter Bible is really for study. Okay, they have a help button here, and if you want help with any of this, then lots of help right here for you. So those are probably going quite a bit deeper than what I'm doing. Then we've got products, and these are just the things that you can buy. Ministries. This is Blue Letter Bible Ministries. Their About section. So we won't go through all these, and then if you want to donate. So we want to go back to the home page, and this is to click home. And here you can see too the search bar, and this is the simplified search bar, and the multi-verse retrieval. So if you want to put several verses in to go hunt, you can do that here. And you can see these advanced options for searching. Now we're going to start getting into the meat of the study part of Blue Letter Bible. So let's just like we've done with the other tutorials, we're going to do scripture, just to give us a common place to look. So first we'll kind of take a look across here. You've already seen sort of the search bar, that's what that is. This is if you want to change translations. Okay, then this button is if we've scrolled and scrolled and we're way down here, but we want to quickly go to the top, especially if you're looking at a lot, you just click that, it goes straight to the top. Up here is the link button, so if you want to send a link to yourself or to somebody else to this page that we're on, you just hit the link button, click copy, and it automatically copies it for you. Then you can go and paste that link into wherever you want to. Share button, which you know, Facebook, Twitter, it's just to share this page out through one of these outlets. Okay, if you're doing research where you like writing papers, and most of us here probably are not going to be that, but who knows. If you ever need to be able to cite the work, they have that feature in here for you. And so if you're familiar with doing research papers, there are different formats, the MLA, the Chicago, those different formats of how they want the citation to look. And that's what all this is. You just click the button and it automatically copies it for you. Then you go over and paste it into wherever you need it to go. Then this is just social follows and a print button. So no surprises there. This just copied this page. All right. Instead of copying the link to the page, we actually just copied the whole page. And then you can go and paste and drop it into something. Under copy options, you can choose whether it's going to have the verse reference or not, whether it separates them, if it's just the verse, if it has the references and all those kinds of things. Like you can really specify how you want to copy these and drop them into something else. And then you can select or clear. Then the Strong's Concordance, which not from here. And red letter just means you get to choose whether you want the words that Jesus said to show up in red or not. Okay, so did you see that? We'll go back. We'll turn this off. Watch these right here. All these in red are things Jesus actually said. We can turn that off so that what he said actually still appears in the same color font as everything else. Okay, so those are some basics. But now we're going to dig in. So I'm going to go ahead and drop in a different, we're going to do Psalm 119:47. Okay, so now let's take a look at some more of the tools and the options that we have. So first we have here where this is, currently we're in Psalm. The book that comes before Psalm is Job. This goes back a book. This one goes back a chapter. So we're in Psalm 119. If we click the single back arrow, it's going to go back to Psalm 118, just back a chapter. And then just the opposite, going the other way, forward one chapter or forward to the next book. This button in the middle, the two down arrows, lets you go if you just want to hop to a book in the Bible from where we are. Okay. All right. So now looking at Psalm 119, let's just say that we want to understand a specific word. If you really want to dig in and understand what they meant at the time that they wrote it, David, when he wrote this, what word was he actually using for delight or commands or whatever? And so we're going to open this up and click Tools. So if you look here, and I'm just hovering right now. If you just hover, then you can see the tools. There's the interlinear, which if you remember, we've seen interlinear with the other tools, other Bibles. Cross references, if we want to see what cross references are available for this verse. Commentaries, dictionaries, and then other tools. Okay, what we can do is go ahead and click on tools, and now it's going to open the verse up for us. And so we can see they're breaking it down by phrase. And so I shall delight in your commandments, which I love. Then you can come over here and take a look at just that phrase. So it's not showing up any other times in the New Living Translation. We can jump around and look at other translations and see if anything is showing up. And there's nothing. So we can click back, but you'll see here it does show up in the NASB. But if you wanted to take a look at that, you could always click it and see where it goes and just see what they have to offer there. Now you'll see kind of some of these same tools over in the side, daily devotionals, you know, all those extras are over here. Okay, but we're going to click back. Okay, so now we're back to where it's breaking it down for us. This is the interlinear. See where it's breaking it down for us by phrase. In your commandments, we're going to look at that phrase. So it's not showing up any other in the NLT because that's what we have selected. They're showing us it doesn't show up anywhere else there, but it does show up in the New King James, twice in the ESV, twice in the NASB. So you could always click on those and go just kind of, it's sort of a rabbit trail. When you get into Blue Letter Bible, you can completely end up just all kinds of rabbit trails searching for what you're, just searching out the scripture. We're going to go ahead and back up. And I love. So here we go. Here's one. I love occurs 36 times in 36 verses in the New Living Translation. And here's where. All 36 times. Okay. And then over here you can actually see in other translations how many. So it's 22 times in the King James Version, 28 times in the ESV. So that phrase, I love, this is how many times it shows up in these other translations. This is how many times it shows up in these books. In Psalm, it's 13 times. No surprise. David was not bashful about telling God how much he loved him and his word and his ways. Okay, so then the next thing that we're going to look at, we're going to back up. Okay, so this is, remember we talked about the Strong's, I think it was in Bible Hub, and I said this is the Strong's number, but we're not really going to dig into that right now because we're really going to look at it in Blue Letter Bible. So now's the time. So this phrase, I love, in Strong's is referenced as H157. And if you click on it, we're in the lexicon now and can really start to dig into the meat of the word or the phrase. And so here's the transliteration. You want to hear how it's said.
Strong's H157. I have.
So I love that feature.
Just below that, I have.
And so all I did was click the little speaker button, and I kind of love that feature. It tells us what part of speech, the word etymology, other ways that it's been used in the Bible, where H157 is used. Then how it was used in the Bible, the Strong's definition for the word. Then you can look at the Strong's word that comes before it and after it. And then these are other places where the word has shown up. So tons just right here. Okay, so we're going to go back. And then this is where you can see the Hebrew, and again where you can listen to it right up front. Now we're going to go over here, and this is where we get to choose our translations or Bible. Cross references. So now we're looking at the cross references for Psalm 119:47. Correlating verses that go with it. Okay. Tons and tons of stuff here. Commentaries, which we've seen lots of commentaries. Bible Hub has tons of commentaries, but so does Blue Letter. The difference is that Bible Hub shows them all spelled out for you because they don't have this many. So So instead of just seeing the reference that you can click on and go look, it's already written out for you down below. However, here there are just a ton more, and you can get them in audio and video. You can listen to sermons, you can look at written commentaries, tons and tons. So here's some study tools just for Psalm 119. So it's just so much. And what a lot of times I'll end up doing is when I'm trying to really understand a verse or a section of scripture, then I'll look at the Strong's to see the definition, the different ways that it's been used. I'll look at other verses where that phrase has been used with the same reference number, and then I'll come in and I'll start looking at some commentaries to read what theologians or Bible scholars or people much more knowledgeable than me have said about it, just to kind of get some more context and more understanding and information about it. So we've got the dictionaries, which I love. Lots of different dictionaries that you can look at just to help understand the words. And then the miscellaneous section here. And so for this particular one, they have some cool images that you may want, some maps. And actually, if you look up here, you start to see the maps. So there looks like 3 or 4 different timelines, but several maps that go along with it. And then if you scroll, see there's just tons of resources. Blue Letter Bible is the bomb. So this video didn't take as long because you're already kind of familiar with a lot of the different features, but Blue Letter Bible is seriously packed, loaded, full of resources and information and all kinds of awesome for anything scriptural that you're trying to research or study or just understand better. And because it's so packed, it can be a little bit intimidating, but just know that it's not a test and nobody's looking to see if you get it right. So it's just like a scavenger hunt or a treasure hunt. You just go out and explore. The same thing with this tool or any of the tools that we've talked about. It's just a matter of exploring and finding the ones that feel comfortable for you, because some of them are going to feel more intuitive to the way that your brain works, the way that you're used to seeing things. And so just get in there and have some fun and do some digging around and exploring. You're not going to break their website. Just click away. Just click away, click away. And if you get completely lost, there's always a home button. If it's not at the top of any website, then you scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll see a site map or a list of all their pages. And there's always a home button. So if you ever get lost, you can always go home. So hopefully you're finding some tools that you can really start to use and just start digging into scripture. And tomorrow we're going to talk about my super secret, crazy, ridiculous tool that you may actually chuckle about, but that's completely okay. And we'll see you tomorrow for that one.